But today, I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me, but they hate from inside.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and joining me to talk about Dallin Holker, tight end, coming out of Colorado State, my brother from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, my guy, Mr. Jay McLaughlin. Jay, say what's up to the people and give your thoughts and opinions on the tight end we see up here on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you, Logan, and always good to be here. You know, as we talked about earlier, draft day is only 3 days away on the 25th, and I just want to again say thank you to Vincent for allowing me to even participate not only in this but in the draft itself. It's an honor and a privilege. Let's talk about Dallin Holker for a second. Dallin, it's a very unusual name. We talked about it. I've never heard it before, but apparently. I think they like Dallas so much that they said, you know what, we're going to call him Dallin because he's dialed into Dallas, Logan. He is dialed into Dallas. That's why he's called Dallin.
I got you. Yeah,
I don't know why it's called.
Very well could
I just made that up. But no, you know, as far as a player himself, you know, he's not – this is the thing. Okay, if you look at him, he was graded on a scale of 1 to 10. He came in at 5.9. 5.9 on a lot of grade scales, generally it means that you are a backup or a special teamer. I see him more as a special teamer. I think if he does make it on the offense as a tight end, it would be in special situations because this guy has no blocking abilities. He is very, very limited. He cannot do inline blocking to save his life. He can handle in space blocking, but he cannot handle in line blocking, and that's a problem. So I don't think you're going to use this guy on if you got a run play or if you got a pass protection play. You're not using this guy. You're going to use this guy if you're specifically going to go to him and play because that's really all he can do. He can get the ball. He can catch it. He had 4.77 or 4.78 at his combine, 1.66 I think on a 10-yard speed at the combine. But ultimately, he's 6'4", 265. I believe is what is or 264, right around there. Yeah, so he's an all right guy. He came out of BYU, exploded on the scene at Colorado State, but ultimately, Logan, I got to be honest with you. When I think about this guy, you know, I think about a guy that's just, you know, he's probably going to go, I would say 6th, maybe 7th round for a team if they do need a tight end at that level or that late in the game. I think they pick him up as maybe a prospect. But I don't think he's going to be anything more than a backup or a special teams guy. He has good body control. I will give him that, which allows him to focus and put some highlight on those grabs. So he has good focus on the ball. He can make the grab. That's the thing about it. He can catch the damn ball. He's got decent size. So if you're going to use him, you're going to use him like that. You're not going to use him for anything blocking related, honestly, right. Logan. So for me, I give him a grade of like 5. I say they're at 5.9. Like I said, he doesn't have good speed. He does have a decent vertical jump, and he can catch the ball. But I think you're going to – if he does get drafted, I think it'll be later in the rounds, and it's going to be for special teams or possibly third down possessions or something of that nature.
Yeah, I think this guy is definitely going to be more so at least as we see from his college tape, a guy who you're going to put in there on third down, or a guy you're going to put in there in red zone schemes. Because as you mentioned, his catching is definitely his greatest weapon. He's got gloves. He's got glue on his gloves, Jay. He doesn't – if there's a ball near him, it ain't going anywhere. He's going to grab it. He's got solid route running. I'm not saying he's like a Tyreek Hill, but he's got, for a big man, he's pretty solid. Like I said, speed, yeah, kind of ho-hum, not blazing fast, but he's also not just going to be clogging up the lane. But that's where his strengths and his weaknesses, you highlighted it perfectly. Strength, catching. He can catch every ball. You're not going to see him drop a lot of passes. That's why this past year, 2023, he got over 700 yards in the air, 6 touchdowns on 64 catches. That's why, Jay, he was a Mackey Finalist Award recipient there as a finalist. That's why he was one of the better tight ends in the country. Coming up from little Colorado State, right? It's a school that no one really ever talks about. That's how good this guy was. I think that and that's the thing, Jay, that's the thing. You can work on blocking. Blocking isn't something that's, God-given like speed or jumping ability. You can work on blocking. If this guy, Jay, if he works on his blocking, if he really just puts his nose down and starts figuring out just, how do I get better as a run blocker, as a pass blocker, he's a guy who I don't know if I would say could be, a star in this league. I don't see anything like that, but could be a guy who could be a potential, I would say a fringe starter one day. I could see him getting all of those capabilities together, all of his abilities, and just really finding a good niche. I think that this guy is – I think I would go late round, but I would maybe go round 5 or 6. I don't know about 7 per se, but I would definitely say a later round pick. But a guy who has a role on a team that would fit very nicely. That if you need a backup tight end, I would say you could grab him here. He's also, like you said, he's solid in terms of height and weight. He's got good solid vert, but we'll see how it happens. But the one thing too, Jay, let's not forget this. One thing that will potentially drop him to that 7th round, as you mentioned, he does have a history of injuries. He did have an ankle injury as well, so that could be a reason for him to fall. But there's a lot of guys banged up in this draft. We'll see what happens. But I think overall, man, Dallin Holker, solid player coming out of Colorado State. I'm excited to see where he goes and how he can progress. It's a guy, Jay, who, if he puts it all together, could carve out a nice career in the NFL. And if you guys want to see where all these players we've been talking about for the past few weeks, months, feels like a year at this point, are going to go, you can gladly do so this week. We're finally here, April 25th, live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the kickoff for our live draft reaction show. Come on, hang out with us on Facebook and YouTube, where we're going to be streaming it. Say hi, drop by, and let us know your thoughts about what is going to happen in the first round of the NFL draft. Me and Jay are going to be there. It's going to be a fun time. Me and Jay are going to be poking fun at each other's teams. And all of us here, of course, David Kelly, William Giannis, Mr. Football Victor. It's going to be a good time, though, man. I'm looking forward to it. Be sure to come in. Stay tuned. Thursday, April 25th, 7:30 Eastern. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers. And joining me to talk about Jacob Cowing, wide receiver coming out of Arizona, the one, the only Mr. Jay McLovin, of course, coming over from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, where me and Jay put out videos every single week as well. Always fun time. Brother, how you doing, man? And let's talk about Jacob Cowing. As we know, a guy who could probably benefit from a couple of McDonald's cheeseburgers a few. Let's say. Not to poke fun at him or nothing, right? Just having a little bit of lighthearted fun. But this guy is probably going to be one of the skinniest players in the draft coming in, Jay, at 5'8", weighing in at 168 pounds. That is his height and weight. I'll go ahead and kick things off for you there, and I'll let you take it on to the house. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, he got a 6 point on the rating scale, on the prospect grading scale, which if you go by their chart, it says basically above average backup. It's kind of where they're putting him. Like you said, the guy's 5'8". He weighs like 168 pounds. Not a very big guy. Probably looks like a prototypical junior high, maybe even high school guy on the football field. The problem I have with this guy, and I'm talking about his physical attributes, outside of the weight, outside of the height, the third problem I have with him is his arm length. He's only got 29 1/4 inch arms. which doesn't give him a whole lot of wingspan. And if you're 5'8", you really need a whole lot of damn arm length if you're going to compete with these 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" cornerbacks, or even these linebackers who are actually taller than you and bigger than you. And even some of them maybe even faster than you. I mean, nowadays, in the NFL, linebackers are starting to get even quicker these days. So, and the reason why I talk about linebackers specifically is because he's a slot receiver, and he's basically intended, quote unquote, for underneath routes or short routes. Short and underneath routes, where is that prototypically at? That's at the linebacker level. Cornerbacks will be on him, but that really is at the linebacker level. So, the thing about him is he has a hard time. If he's going to be successful, he has to be able to separate himself from the crowd. And sometimes he has an issue doing that. Now, this guy, he is quick. He runs a 4.37 or 4.38 in the 40. He is fast, but he's quicker than he is fast. And if you're running short underneath routes, you really have to be quick. Speed only counts so much as your burst and as your quickness to get that underneath, 5 to 10 yard, probably is about as far as he's going to go to get that spot. So you really have to be super quick to beat that corner or that linebacker off the ball. At 5'8", you better be quick to get off the ball and outbeat him. Otherwise, you're probably not going to have a shot at that catch. The last thing I want to say about him is just, like I said, he needs to work more. He drops the ball a lot. So he really does need to work more on his catching. And if you're 5'8", and you drop the ball, that's a problem. Now, Logan, you did mention earlier about the Houston Texans, Tank Dell, being at 5'8", 160 something.
Yep, right. And
I asked you, and I said, I don't know if this guy's a Tank Dell. And the fact that he drops the ball at 5'8" is definitely not Tank Dell. The fact that they're telling you that he needs to work on catching the ball is definitely not Tank Dell. So I look at this guy. And they also say he needs to work on his punt returns. So I guess they've used him as punt returns in college. And the things I've read on him and watched on him is that he definitely needs to work on his punt returns. So if you're having a hard time catching the ball, hard time playing on special teams, I got to be honest with you, Logan. I would not be surprised. If the only reason they take him is because his quickness and his 4.3 run time, that would be the only reason they take him. I almost could see this guy going undrafted, to be honest with you.
When I look at Jacob Cowley, interesting player, right? We're seeing a trend in recent years of, as you mentioned, Tank Dell, Devontae Smith as well. Shorter in a sense. We know Devontae was a little bit taller, but we'll say skinnier wide receivers. And I mean skinny. There's always the concern people are going to bring up about injuries, if their bodies can sustain the hits at the NFL. But honestly, Jay, with the way that they're kind of babying defenses nowadays, I don't think that's going to be much of an issue anymore. That's just my personal opinion. When I look at Jacob Cowley, guy who started off at UTEP, right, and worked his way up, went over to Arizona, and Jay, he did some good work at Arizona. Let's not get it twisted. All 12 games his first season, led the Pac-12 with 85 grabs, most by an Arizona receiver since 2002. This past year, though, single-season program record, had 13 touchdowns, 7th all-time in career receiving yards at Arizona. Didn't even have his entire football career there also as well. And all Pac-12 honorable mention this past season as well is in 2022. Like I said, past year, Arizona, Pac-12 leading reception count, and also program record for touchdowns at Arizona. This guy, obviously, he's got good quickness, right? Going to make him, I think, a slot receiver for sure. And we were talking before the show about what were some packages you could throw this guy in. And we both agreed that he would definitely work out well as a punt/kick returner. You can work that because, my God, that speed is going to be tremendous to watch. And if you do use him as that slot receiver, obviously you can go easy slants with him all day, every day. You could go curl routes. You could go routes behind the line of scrimmage and just let him cook behind there. But in terms of deep threats, though, Jay, he's got to beat these guys. If you ever want to go deep with him, he's got to use his speed because we know the vertical's not there. It's not going to be able to compete with the guys at this level. That's just how it is. He's got a solid special teams ability as well, as we mentioned. That's going to help him out. That's is what's going to help him probably get on a roster. He's also just good at finding holes in coverages, that's kind of what he needs. He needs to kind of do the nitty gritty stuff. Obviously, we know, wide receivers go up, catch the ball, run the ball, blah, 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 so on and so forth. He's got to do a little bit more than that. He's got to be a smart player, which he is. He's got to hone in, though, Jay. At the next level, you've got to be pretty much perfect if you want to get a catch in this league, get a touchdown in this league. And for a guy his size and his weight, that is going to limit him severely. However, I say that, if they get the ball in his hands, Jay, it could be something special to watch. If they get the ball in his hands, he could take it to the house with that speed. Obviously, you're going to be facing faster guys in the NFL than you were in college. That's a given fact. But this guy, they say he's got blazing speed. He can run. I think that overall, Jacob Cowling, late round draft pick for sure. Jay said potentially undrafted. We'll see. I think that this is a guy who someone's going to take obviously a flyer on. If not, they're going to invite him to training camp just based off of what he did at Arizona, right, in terms of his numbers. But also, you could play around with this guy. You could throw him in some schemes and maybe have something work every so often. Jacob Cowling, my final thoughts. Solid player. Did good work at Arizona. We'll see if it translates, though, to the National Football League. It's going to be fun to watch, and we'll see if this guy is more so going to be a player every Sunday or someone you just want to play with on Madden. We'll see what happens, Jay. We'll see what happens. And also, if you guys want to check out where the rest of these guys are going to go, specifically in the first round, we're going to be covering that. You can check out me, Jay, the rest of our team, Daniel Kelly, William Yanish, Miss Football Vets Turner. We are doing our live draft reactions Thursday, April 25th. At 7:30 Eastern. We're going to be doing a little bit of pre-draft coverage, just kind of chatting it up beforehand before the Chicago Bears pick number 1 overall, and we will see what happens then. And all the insanity that will ensue in the entire first round. For Jay McLovin, I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, go get your draft notes ready, and we'll see you on draft night. We'll talk to you later. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football and Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers. Join me today to talk about the offensive lineman coming out of Arkansas, Mr. Bo Leamer. Help me out, the guy from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, Mr. Jay McLovin. Jay, say what's up to the people and give us your thoughts on Bo Leamer coming out of Arkansas.
Yeah, I've never been an Arkansas fan, but hey, look, I'm not an Oklahoma fan either. Look, everything about Texas, because we're all competitive towards each other, So
I got you.
Yeah, and now that Texas is in the SEC, that should be interesting. But no, man, it's good to be here. Look, this guy is a big guy for an offensive guard. He's at 6'5", 302. He got some athleticism to him. He's got 9.5-inch hands and an arm length and a wingspan of 77.5. So this is a big boy. This is a boy that he can put hands on you. He can move you around where he needs to. The positive side of him, like I said earlier, is that he's rangy. He's springy blocker. He's light on his feet, loose on his hips. So this guy can move. Like he can position himself. He gets his hips into extensions to create space. He's got good balance, quickness, grip strength is good. So this guy's got all the intangibles, that I think that you're looking for. He sells on his blocks. He's very fluid in his movements, which are all great things, overall. When you look at his weaknesses, I don't see any weaknesses. I was trying to research if he had any weaknesses. I don't see too many. I mean, he's got some weaknesses. I think he's a little bit slower on his first step, but the guy looks pretty good. He's athletic. He's lean. So I think I'm gonna give this guy. I think he goes. I'm gonna say he goes probably. I'm gonna say third round. I'm gonna say late. I'm gonna say late third round, early fourth round.
Interesting. When I look at Bo Leamer, a guy who country strong, as we can see. But also, Jay gets it done in the classroom. We always like to highlight these guys for what they do at school as well. We all know these are college athletes as well. SEC academic honor roll every year, Jay, from freshman season to senior year. So shouts out to him for studying in the books as well as getting it done on the gridiron. Coming out of high school, he chose Arkansas over offers like Missouri, Oklahoma State, Baylor, so on and so forth. Coming out of Tyler, Texas. Well, this guy is obviously, we said he's smart in the classroom. That translates to the game film, Jay. He knows what defensive players are going to try to go for. He can identify blitzes with some of the best offensive linemen in this draft. He's good as a blocker overall, good at getting to that second level, which a lot of guys we've talked about don't get there. This guy, Bo Lemer, is able to get there. He's good at adjusting on the fly. Pressure does not get to this dude at all. He adjusts and he adapts as all top-tier athletes should. Solid athletic ability overall. Guys coming just over 300 pounds as well. Active feet through contact. He's not just going to sit there in like a concrete slab, Jay. He's going to keep on moving. So that's what I like about Bo Lemer. Overall, good body skills, good utilizing his hands and his feet as well. Solid flexibility you like to see as well with the bend. I think Bo Lemer, like you mentioned, I think a third-round grade is great for him. I could even see maybe someone taking him day 2. Round 2, it could be, just with how the way that this guy carries himself, the way that he performs on the field. Like you said, there's not a whole lot of weaknesses to this guy's game. I definitely think he's going to be a high-round draft pick and someone we're going to see in the NFL for many seasons to come. Like I said, he's a good player overall. I'm excited to see what team is going to draft Bo Lemer. And if you want to see if Bo Lemer potentially shocks the world, Jay, and comes into the first round, well, you can do so with us. Me, Jay, Mr. Football, Hector Turner, Daniel Kelly, William Yanish, the whole crew at 100 Yards Football live draft reaction show Thursday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Be there. Let us know your thoughts, who your team is going to get, and for all the insanity that will happen here in just a few days. Of course, my guy, Jay McLovin from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, get your draft notes ready, get your snacks ready, come joining us, and we'll talk to y'all on another live episode. We'll see you later. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers, and join me to talk about Jalen Harrell, defensive end coming out of Michigan, the one, the only Jay McLovin, coming over from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. Jay, say what's up to the people, my friend, and let them know what you think about this talented edge rusher coming out of Michigan, the defending champs.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Logan. It's a good day to be here, man, and talk some sports and get ready for this draft. And our last guy today that we're going to talk about, like you said, Jalen Harrell out of Michigan. You know, he's not bad. He's got some good height, right? Much better than the last guy we talked about. He's got 6'4", 250 pounds, edge rusher, great arm, 33-inch length arms. I mean, you know, pretty much everything you want prototypically at the edge rusher spot. Quick, light, long arms, rangy, and can get to the ball quick. However, on the prospect grade, believe it or not, Logan, this guy only comes in at 5.86, which makes him above average, or no, excuse me, it makes him an average backup or special teamer. That's where they classify him at with that prospect grade. And that's interesting to me. Considering the school that he came out of and where he played at, he's got great, like I said earlier, he's got 33-inch arms, great wingspan, big hands. He's also the son of former pro James Harrell, who comes from the NFL. So he does come from NFL bloodline. So I think he does have an idea of what's expected of him at this level, probably through his pops and conversations, as amongst other things, college coaches and whatnot. So I think he's prepared for the NFL as best as he can be. He has good reactive quickness, and he's developed an inside spin move to get to the quarterback. So that's a good thing. I would say you got to have a couple of moves on you if you want to get to that first level. You got to have at least 2 or 3 swim moves, spin moves, whatever. You know, you have to be able to fight with your hands to shut off that offensive lineman, and I think he can do that. So the weakness is that he doesn't play with enough aggressiveness. Now that's a problem for me, Logan.
Yeah. Especially on the
when you're an edge rusher and you struggle with aggressiveness, that's the only that. And, you know, I was looking at my notes on all the things I wrote about him, and I don't even want to talk about anything else. As an edge rusher, if you lack aggressiveness, you might as well pack your bags up and get the hell out of Dodge because you suck. No, seriously. I mean, look. Yeah. What is the number one trait? What is the number one trait you want in your edge rusher, Logan? You want aggressiveness.
Right. You got to be aggressive.
How are you getting the quarterback if you're not aggressive? Mm-hmm. So that's a problem. That's a huge, big freaking red flag. I don't give a damn about nothing else. That's the biggest flag I've ever seen. If you lack aggressiveness at the edge rush position, son, you need to go back to college and figure out another way of life. I'm just trying to tell you that's a big thing. That's a big attribute to not have at that position. So for me, I don't think the man gets drafted. I think he goes undrafted. And if he does get drafted, I think it does a special teams if they want to go that route. But I don't think this guy gets drafted. If your biggest knock on you in the first bullet point is that you lack aggressiveness at the biggest spot on the line, that's a problem.
Jay McLovin never wanted to mince words. My thoughts on Jalen Harrell. We know this past year, obviously, Michigan as a team did very well. And when we look at Jalen Harrell, what he did, 7 tackles on the year, 10 assists, 12 stops. But where he really gets it cooking, as we mentioned, is an edge rusher, and that is getting to the quarterback. He did record 6 sacks this year, as well as 27 pressures, 19 quarterback hurries on the year. So, Jay, it feels like for this guy, and you see it on tape, you see it in film, either he gets to the quarterback or that's pretty much it. And as you mentioned, aggressiveness, that's more so getting it every play. You have to want it every down to get to the quarterback, especially as an edge rusher. Like I said, stats-wise, didn't put up a whole lot of other stuff in terms of, no pass breakups, no interceptions, which means he's not just jumping for the ball at the line of the fence there. But like I said, I think Harrell comes in at his own height and weight overall when he comes in, right around 6'4", 250, around that size. But like I say, he's got solid athleticism, right? He's going to sneak around defenders. He's going to get to the quarterback. But like you said, the main thing, though, he's not elite in terms of pass rush moves. You know what this guy is going to come with, and opposing offensive linemen, Jay, are going to pick up on that very quick, and they are going to stop this guy. Also, limited vision in terms of he's fooled by misdirections. That's when it comes to play actions. That's where this guy can get eaten alive at, and he doesn't have that range, that agility to get there and mix and get correct his mistakes. So I think that overall, Jalen Harrell, look yourself in the mirror, my friend. Say, how bad do you want this? Because Jay, you can teach aggressiveness. That's something you want from inside. That's not something in terms of vertical ability. That's not something in terms of your footwork. That's something that you got to want deep down.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone's capable of it, my brother. Everyone on the football field. It's just a matter of how bad you want it. Jalen Harrell, how bad do you want it? Guys, if you guys enjoy the video, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe. Also, go and be sure to check out our live draft show coming up on Thursday, April 25th at 7:30 Eastern. Me and Jay is going to be there. The whole cast and crew at 100th Football will be there live on Facebook and YouTube. Like I said, get your draft notes ready, get your snacks ready, and we will talk to you guys again on another live episode. We'll see you later.